Well, I don't have any grandbabies or even any regular babies, and truthfully, I had to Google who Robert Redford was. Okay. But I do know a little something about love. So my love story starts when I was 4 years old. My dad played college soccer and was now coaching a little boys team, and so I came along to all the games with the pigtails and the pom-poms to cheer them on. But it didn't take long for me to realize that I'd much rather have a bun in my hair and a ball at my feet. So this love story quickly became one of that many of you know. Fell in love with my sport from day one. I enjoyed playing it. You got to play outside, you got to be with your friends. They gave you snacks after the games. And I very, very quickly became so in love with this sport. Growing up, it was able to teach me a whole bunch of things. It taught me how to be kind. It taught me how to interact with other people. It taught me how to lose and how to win. And that only grew my love more for the sport. So as this progressed and grew, it got time to play in high school. And it's the dreaded, do I try out for JV? Do I try out for varsity? I'm a freshman. This is a big deal. It wasn't actually that big of a deal. So I tried out for varsity my freshman year and made it. With that, no, that's not that big of a deal. No, that's not a clap moment. But with high school soccer comes high school hormones, which is fun, but also not fun all at the same time. So soccer had become a thing that was always a stress relief. It was something I enjoyed doing. It was something that I had a lot of fun with. And high school soccer suddenly was, well, sometimes I don't get along with people, and this was weird. I wanted to fit in as a freshman. I wanted to be liked. And I had a coach who preached family. He said, if you're not willing to work for yourself, be willing to work for the girl next to you. And that's something that has stuck with me for the entirety of my life, really. And so that was something that I tried to implement, but I still just didn't get along with some of my teammates, and that was hard. And I remember vividly being stressed about this in the car one time, and my mom looked at me and she said, Robin, not everybody's going to like you, and that's okay. Now, that number was way higher than I originally anticipated. But it did change my schooling years. No longer did I have to fit in or have to please somebody else. I got to enjoy what I was doing when I was doing it. So soccer just got to be fun again. I got to enjoy it. I got to love it still. Throughout high school, we were remarkably successful. My freshman and sophomore year, we went to state, lost, but got there. My junior and senior year, we lost in the semifinals, but still put out a fantastic showing. I played 4 years with some of my best friends and enjoyed every second of it. So being that successful in high school opened up the opportunity to play in college. I picked a small school in the middle of nowhere called Erskine College. For those of you who don't know Erskine, if you drive to the middle of nowhere and take a left, you're there. For those of you who do know Erskine College, you know I'm telling the truth. So I came in as a freshman and I was super excited. I didn't have to worry about what people thought of me, and I got to play this game for another 4 years, which had always been the goal. I wanted to be as good as what I could do for as long as I possibly can. So I got there and I moved in, and I had worked out all summer, and I had trained, and I was ready to earn my spot and prove it. And I did just that. I came in as a freshman and I started. But with that, I took a senior spot. And something weird happened. Soccer was no longer this fun thing that was an outlet for stress. Suddenly it became the point of stress. People didn't like me. People didn't like the freshman class. We got hazed. We got picked on. And I, for the first time, hated where I was. I hated soccer. I didn't like it. I missed having that family. I missed people who had my back and supported me. And so growing up, we were told that you can never quit. You can find another way out, but you can't quit. So I had to stay for the whole freshman year before I transferred. So I finally got up the courage in the spring to go ask my coach, like, hey, this ain't for me. Can you sign these papers so I can leave? So that meeting was scheduled for a Friday, and the day before, we had just had a light run-through practice. So we had a game that weekend. We're doing 1v1s in practice, and so one of the seniors was dribbling at me. She took a bad touch, so I stepped in and won it, and went to make a recovery run back to the end of the line, and I heard a pop. And my body was covered in this most blinding pain that I could have ever imagined, reaching around, grabbing the grass, just praying for this pain to stop. So for those of you who don't know, there's a series of ligaments that hold the knee together. these ligaments just do basic functions, walking up and down the stairs, getting in and out of the shower, standing up out of a chair, playing soccer. And so when I found out that the main one of these, the ACL, was torn along with a series of other ligaments, that was my disaster. Now no one's going to take a transfer that can't play. I didn't like it here, but I couldn't go anywhere else. And now the thing that's supposed to be my stress relief is no longer an option. So this was a hurdle. I didn't want to be done with it, so we're going to have to work hard. We're going to have to get over it. We're going to have to move forward. So we sat down with doctors and talked about surgery and figured out the kinks of that. So that following summer, we set off for surgery. Now, surgery is not for those of us with pride issues, let me just tell you. It's a lot of having your mom help you up and off the couch, having her hold your leg while you use the bathroom, trying to figure out how to get in and out of showers. And so I have to sing praises of my family, because for the first time, soccer showed me that love wasn't just something that you enjoy doing, it's service. They jumped in and helped me when I couldn't do anything for myself. My toes were always cold, and no matter how hard I tried, I could not reach them, and they were always there with a fuzzy sock when I needed it. So I missed the whole of my sophomore year. With the surgery, it's about 9 to 18 months. From the time of surgery to being back on a field. There's a whole lot of things that go into it. But I was patient. I put a lot of time into my sophomore year about building those relationships and those friendships that I so badly wanted my freshman year, so that when I turned around to help the freshmen coming up underneath me, they could have at least one person who would pour into them the way I so desperately wanted to be poured into. So junior year rolled around. I had worked hard socially. I'd worked my butt off to get back physically, and I was ready. I moved in junior year with a chip on my shoulder, and it was fun again. It came right back. It was just like riding a bike. That season at Erskine, we had one of the most successful years we've had as a women's soccer team there. We won more than one game, which was our freshman year. And we were able to secure the bottom of the barrel seed for the playoffs, but it was the playoffs nonetheless. The way that bracket works is that the bottom seed plays the number 1 seed, which, we weren't going to win it, but it was everybody's seen miracle, and so you're like, this may be it. So we set off to play this game, and we were down 1 at the end of the half, but the vibe on the team was not one of, oh, this is over. It was good. It was like, maybe this is it, and that fight was there. So about 15 minutes into the second half, we're out there playing, and one girl was coming this way, and one girl was coming this way, and I was like, oh, I've got to move for this. And so I went to do this move and pull out. The other one went. I distinctly remember hitting the ground, grabbing turf, going, no, 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 not again, no. It was just, that feeling is a feeling that you don't forget. It was the same pain, and as I got to the sideline, I just sat there. Our AT came over, and I just looked at her. I said, it's my ACL. And so that was hard. It was the last game of my junior year. I didn't have another 18 months to be back for a senior year, and now it wasn't an obstacle. It was a full disaster. This was a love. I hadn't lost anybody or lost a child or lost a husband, but this was something that I had loved for so many years, that I had poured so much time and effort into, that now suddenly was gone. I didn't get to say goodbye. I didn't have to have closure. I just sat there alone. And so that's hard. I mean, I know there are bigger things in life, but for my little life, that was the big thing. And so we just kind of set off for recovery round 2. And it's hard to come back from something like that when you feel like you don't have a goal. So I think as an athlete, we always grow up, this is what your goal is, this is what you're trying to meet. And so when you're not trying to meet something anymore, you have this real kind of existential crisis where you're like, oh no, what do I do? But we just kind of kept trucking. We took it one day at a time and just kind of kept moving forward. So we rolled back in senior year, and everyone was getting excited again, season's starting, and this fight rose in me, and it was that high school coach saying, if you're not going to work for yourself, then work for these girls. And I just had this moment where I was like, I have to finish with the girls that I started with. I at least owe it to them. So I went to my coach, and I sat down in her office, and I said, hey, I don't expect to travel. I don't expect to play. But I want to try. I have to give it one last go. I have to go out on my own terms. So I was about 9-ish months after this recovery process, but I hadn't touched a ball since that last game. But it came right back. It really did. And so the more I played, the better I got. And we got about a third of the way into the season, and I was traveling, and I was playing substantial minutes and starting games. But something huge had happened during that time. Every time my senior year that I put cleats on or stepped onto a field or had a ball at my feet, it was one more time than I thought I could have. And I fell in love with that sport the same way that little girl in pigtails fell in love with that sport. And that was beautiful to me. So last fall, a 19-year chapter of my life closed. The sport taught me how to be kind. It taught me how to win graciously. It taught me how to lose. It taught me how to be kind to other people. It taught me how to work hard. It taught me how to hold my tongue, but to always speak up for the people I believe in. Soccer, the thing that I love the most in life, had taught me how to truly love.